survivors of the pandemic. I come to you from an undisclosed location. I've altered the frequency of my voice so the Watchers can't pick up my digital signature. It is of utmost importance to my survival.
Frequency secure.
Good.
All clear now. What I'm about to tell you happens exactly 7 years from now. Where do I start?
The year is 2027.
The pandemic had raged for 7 years now. There was no work, no income, no food. Homelessness was growing fast. Protests and violence had broken out all across the globe. The ones that were immune had fled the cities and sought shelter in nature. Major cities like New York, Los Angeles, Tokyo, Berlin, Paris, London, Mumbai, Beijing, Moscow had lost almost 90% of their inhabitants. Towers of steel and glass decayed, like statues of a bygone era. 75% of the world's population had been infected with the virus. The governments didn't tell you that. The governments had lied. The numbers of infections they showed on TV weren't real. Multiply the number by 10, which comes much closer to reality.
The age of social distancing.
It is in our human nature to be close to one another, to touch, to feel, to be intimate. But this was the new normal. At first, people had abided by the rules: stay indoors, no contact with the outside world, reduce the risk of infection. People had been locked down at home for a long time and were itching to get out to gather with loved ones and friends. Party, be close, just let it out. That's when the real trouble started. Infections grew rampant and people started to get really scared of one another. Distance had become essential. Social distancing was a phrase that would last for years to come. Hindsight is 20/20, I guess. Then, something strange happened. We made contact. Kepler 22b. Unruck.
The virus came from space.
Experts agreed that the structure of the virus was more complicated than AIDS, more refined. The Lifeline Corporation had been awarded the global contract for a vaccine, making it the dominant company in the pharma industry. The R0 of the virus was calculated initially at 2 to 3. That meant the infection had spread rapidly, and only 8% of humans were immune. A vaccine was developed in record time, courtesy of the Lifeline Corporation. It didn't prove effective at first, and there were many side effects. Some of the side effects of this conditioning weren't previously known. Things like being light sensitive, at the same time excellent of hearing, were some of them. With global warming nearing the point of no return, people had been forced underground. They told the public the virus came from bats. More and more people died. There was no cure, and no one was there to mind the farm, and that left the machines unattended.
The Watchers.
The Watchers had brought us new technologies, new religion, new everything. They had created an AI, Unruck, so powerful, and we were feeding it with every text, search, like, comment, and upload. Unruck was taking over the internet by creating virtual companions, partners to fill the emotional void that had been left behind by the pandemic. They called them emocanics, emotional mechanics, the perfect solution for the lonely and disenfranchised.
Game shows were all the rage.
The result was unavoidable. Everything about us was stored in the cloud. Complete control over all of humanity. Almost all.
The old ones.
The remainder of human civilization was divided into two groups. The rich that could afford the antidote and vaccination had sided with the alien forces and went underground. They had accepted the change, their transformation, for such human reasons as greed and power. Understandable. The temptations of the old ones were superfluous. Unruck had been busy building a new kind of human being, merging mankind with machines. AI had been meticulously re-engineering humans to condition them against the plague. Anrak, the alien leader, was feverishly looking for the Geist particle, a structured gene that, if infused with human DNA, would bring mankind into submission. 600 light-years from Earth, their ships were standing by in the Cygnus system, awaiting final orders from the mothership.
1111, the awakening of the disciples.
Some of the ones that had been immune to the virus called it their spiritual awakening. They called themselves disciples, followers of the One, the Wanderer. An angelic wake-up call, a message to the receptive few that believed in universal powers, was broadcast on 11/11/2020. The disciples too had left the cities and broke into small groups that hid in the forests, the deserts, the mountains, or wherever else there was a place to remain hidden from the Watchers. Their leader was a man named the Wanderer, an almost mythical figure. It is said that he possesses the knowledge and the powers needed to bring down the construct the aliens had created. Although, we shouldn't call them aliens. They're much older and darker than humans could have ever imagined. A force so overwhelming that angels were sent to stop them. Light workers from all around the world had been mobilized to counterbalance the threat. The war and the final decision if mankind would survive was coming. Hope springs eternal, they say. And there was always hope. Know that we are all one in this conflict together. But I digress. Let's start from the beginning. The day I realized I had entered
Shadowlands.